Orange County Registered Digital.
Hello and welcome to the OCVarsity Gridiron Show, Week 9. I'm your host, Jonathan Khamis, being joined by Dan Albano and Steve Fryer. We're here at Mission Viejo High School, where we will preview their game against El Toro High School coming up. But first, our stars of Week 8. And I'll start off first, guys. I have a small school sensation in Patrick Glasgow from Calvary Chapel. He had 6 touchdowns last week, 27 out of 40 passing for 428 yards. Steve, who do you got?
Well, I got Zach Taylor, the quarterback over at Buena Park. I had a dynamite game, threw for 370 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I saw Zach a couple weeks ago. He's a pretty good player. Dan, you have a couple guys, huh?
Yeah, I got 2 guys. Our defensive player of the week this week, Grady Higgins from Santa Margarita, had 12 total tackles, and then Villa Park quarterback Anthony Navarro threw for a school record 367 yards.
Guys, can the unthinkable happen? After all the talk in the preseason about our heavyweights in the county, Mater Dei, Servite, kind of number 1, number 2 all year, could they both miss the playoffs? I mean, they could be 1-3 after this weekend.
Well, that horn just tells you how shocked everybody is by that possibility. Yeah, it could happen, because Jay Sarah's win over Mater Dei last week, shook up a lot of things, not just the county landscape, and changed the football universe as you and I and you know it. But it's pretty interesting stuff because, they're probably going to be number 1 or 2 coming out of that league, and then who's number 3? I don't know. The top 3 teams in that league get guaranteed playoff berths. The other 3 have to vie for one of the 2 or both of the at-large berths that's in the Pac-5 division. You got 6 teams in that league. One of them's not going to go to the playoffs. I don't know which one it's going to be, but it's going to be dynamite. Interesting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, Steve, we were at that game. Jay Sarah celebrating like they won a championship, which was nice to see because, gosh, they've never been there before, and they were excited about it. Hey, Dan, what are your thoughts? Servite, Mater Dei, could they both miss the playoffs?
It could happen. I think one of them will definitely make it, and I think the Trinity League will at least get 4 teams, maybe 5. But I think the Trinity League should get 5. But what's going to, I think Servite's in the tougher boat. Servite can fall back on the great schedule that they played when it's all, when it all shakes out. They still played, Bishop Gorman. They still played De La Salle. Nobody else is playing that kind of schedule. The problem for, I think Servite's got to win one of the next 2 games probably because, if they end on about a 3-game losing streak, it's really going to be tough. So the Trinity League, anything can happen. So we'll see what happens.
All right, guys, I mentioned Mission Viejo, and we're going to talk about the Diablos as they face the Chargers on the OCVarsity Gridiron Extra Show. But we could talk about some other teams that are in South Orange County. How about Trabuco Hills taking on San Clemente, guys? The Mustangs are a team that not a whole lot of people are talking about, but they're making some noise, Steve.
I've kept them in my personal top 25, somewhere around 15, give or take. They're really good. They played some pretty tough teams early on, and they've climbed up in that Seaview League race. They're going to play San Clemente at San Clemente with Sam Darnold throwing the ball like crazy, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Trabuco Hills has allowed only about 6.5, 7 points a game in this run of theirs. So they've won a few games in a row. So that's going to be an interesting game. Definitely an offense versus defensive game down there at Thalassa Stadium in San Clemente.
Dan, you're kind of an expert on the Empire League. You saw some teams recently. Valencia, this is probably their year, and they got a big win last week. They are playing Tustin, who have perennially been the beast of the Empire League. Where do you see this one headed?
Well, this is a big game, and this is, Valencia trying to seal up, potential undefeated season in the Empire League, really get their stock high for best possible playoff seed in the Southwest Division. All the momentum coming off that 14-13 victory over Cypress, and it seemed like the Tigers had the more physical, ground game, the way they ran the ball. So I think they're going to have to do the similar thing to try to keep off some of those great athletes. George Wilson and company at Tustin, they got some athletes, kind of like Quentin Pounds at Cypress. So I think Valencia needs to do what they did last week against Cypress one more week.
That'll just about do it. Any costume for you, Steve?
You know what? I'm going to go as Dan Albano. I'm going to iron me a nice Hawaiian shirt.
I love these Hawaiian shirts, Dan. How often you go to Hawaii?
Not enough.
Not often enough. That's always the answer with everybody.
Good answer, Danny.
Exactly. Hey, our thanks to Dan Albano. Our thanks to Steve Fryer. That's the OCVarsity Gridiron Show. And check out OCVarsity.com this weekend for all your latest scores and updates. That's OCVarsity.com, where we've got you covered.
Orange County Register. We are here in the service of Orange County.